Hey guys, Next Incendiary here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the 8.3.0 PTB patch notes. Behavior released these today as the 8.3.0 PTB will be live as of September 17th, 2024. And there's one thing that's weighing heavy on everyone's mind, and that is mostly the finishing MORI. Now, I know a lot of people are concerned with the current state of play that DBD is in, specifically when it comes to slugging and the pace of games, and I'm really hoping that this changes the game for the better, and it will increase quality of life in the sense that people won't be slugged out on the ground for 4 minutes waiting to go to the next match. Now, without further ado, we are going to hop into the patch notes, so let's start with the finishing MORI. The killer may now kill the last survivor by performing a MORI. Improvements have been made to the cinematic MORI camera to better highlight these end-of-trial kills. Now, with the change of the MORI system, obviously the offerings that allowed you to MORI in the beginning have been swapped as well. Now, depending on the level of MORI, you will get 10, 20, or 30k blood points. I think, yet again, this is a great change for the state of play that DBD is currently in, and on the killer side of things, you could end up making upwards of 60k blood points base a match without extra offerings or any kind of blood hunt or blood rush, or without any kind of events. I think that's pretty cool. Now, within this PTB, we also have a ton of meta shakeup when it comes to the killer perks and the survivor perks, and I'm really excited to get into that too, so let's see what we got here. First off, we have Blood Echo. When hooking a survivor, all injured survivors suffer from hemorrhage and exhaustion for 20, 25, and 30 seconds. It was initially 45. Blood Echo has a cooldown of 80, 70, 60 seconds, and that has been completely removed. I think this makes Blood Echo a lot more viable. The only concern is the fact that a lot of our exhaustion homies, or the people that like to run exhaustion perks, are really going to be feeling the pain on this. The next one is Dead Man Switch, which I'm not going to lie, this is something I've been hearing about and I've been very concerned about, but when hooking a survivor, Dead Man Switch activates. The first survivor that stops repairing a generator calls upon the entity to block it for 40, 45, and 50 seconds, was initially 35, 40, 45. Dead Man Switch cannot activate while it's actively blocking a generator. That is something new that they added due to the fact that they added a ton of time. My only concern about this is it may create a new meta where a lot of people are running Dead Man Switch, but instead of Dead Man Switch pain res, the biggest issue is going to be Dead Man Switch corrective action. Because corrective action is getting a buff, you could say a change as well, that is going to make for quite the counter meta to Dead Man Switch. Next, we have Deathbound. When a survivor heals another survivor, they scream and activate Deathbound. It's removed the distance requirement. When the healer is further than 16, 12, 8 meters from the survivor, they healed, they are oblivious. This lasts until the healer is hooked. It was 60 seconds. Now, yet again, they remove the distance requirement, so as soon as they've healed the other survivor, they are oblivious. That is quite interesting. I think that'll be nice. Deathbound is definitely not too often of a use perk, but now with this change, I think that could bring it to a more so a front runner, like maybe a B tier or an A tier, but definitely not S by any means. And then genetic limits. Anytime a survivor loses a health state, they suffer from the exhausted status effect for 6, 7, 8. Was upon finishing the healing action, and 24, 28, 32. So, interesting enough, now with genetic limits, so let's say you have something like Overcome. If they lose a health state, they're not going to be able to use Overcome. Or if you have Dead Hard, you're not going to be able to use that unless you're able to, I don't know, run Fixated or Vigil, or just even walk out your exhaustion status. It's going to make it very interesting. Hex Crowd Control got a very nice buff. This lasts 3, 4, 5 vaults. The survivor's rush vault are blocked by the entity. It was 14, 17, and 20 seconds, but now it's consistent vaults. So upward of 5 vaults that the survivor rush vault can be blocked by the entity. This will last until the Hexstone is cleansed. This is going to make crowd control very appealing. You're going to see a lot of crowd control, blood favor, and undying in the future, in my opinion. And then leverage. When a survivor performs the unhook action, their healing speed is reduced by 30, 40, 50% for 30 seconds. It was token based and 3, 4, 5%. So now, honestly, leverage makes it a little bit more appealing, especially for the anti-heal builds. The only issue with this is due to the fact that it's an unhook action, is if this does become a meta perk, you're going to find a lot of leverage versus resurgence gaming. Machine learning. When damaging a generator, it becomes compromised. Only one generator can be compromised at a time. Remove the requirement to activate the perk. This is very interesting, and I think due to the fact that they removed the requirement to activate the perk, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot more people running haste builds, and this will be very, very interesting to see in Chase. I think you're going to have yourself in Chase, somebody complete a generator, and then all of a sudden, man is going to have no ed and machine learning, and he's going to be on top of you like white on rice, my friends. No cap. Predator. When a survivor escapes a chase, reveal their aura for 6 seconds. Predator has a 60, 50, 40-second cooldown. Now with Predator, basically what this does is it takes what is initially the scratch marks and condenses them, making them easier to follow. But when you lose a survivor now, which makes this a great learning tool for new killers, you'll actually get their aura read as well. Which yet again, I think this is a fantastic change, especially for the newer player base. Thwack starts with 3 tokens. New, when breaking a pallet or breakable wall, consume a token. Survivors within 24 meters scream, revealing their location for upwards of 5 seconds. Ooh, when hooking a survivor, regain 1 token. That's actually really interesting. I actually really do like this change. I think the token system on Thwack with the ability to get them on a hook is very viable. Now, are you going to see this over Lethal Pursuer, over Infectious Fright? Probably not, but you're still going to see it a little bit more, that's for sure. And finally, for perk changes on the killer side, we have Zenshin Tactics. When a survivor is within 6 meters of a dropped pallet within 16 meters of your location, reveal their aura for 6, 8, 10 seconds. Now, this has been completely reworked, and my biggest concern is the Chucky gamers. My goodness, you're going to have so many hidey-ho slice and dice gamers that will never break the pallet due to the fact that Zenshin Tactics is now a mini Weave Attunement. This is going to be very scary. I think this, and yet again, combined with Weave Attunement for the dead zone areas that do not have pallets, are going to make for a full map of aura reading. It'll be interesting. All right, and now we're getting the survivor perk updates. First, we have Blood Rush. After being unhooked, Blood Rush activates for the next 40, 50, 60 seconds. While suffering from exhausted, press the active ability button to recover from exhausted instantly. Blood Rush deactivates when used or when performing a conspicuous action. Blood Rush is disabled once the exit gates are powered. So basically what they're doing is they're making it so you have the ability right off the hook with Blood Rush to use your exhaustion perk, unexhaust yourself, and then use your exhaustion again. This is going to be insane. Blood Rush is going to be dummy fun. You're definitely going to see a lot of Lithe gamers using it, a lot of Sprint Burst gamers using it, and it's just going to be insane to see these people zooming across the map, to say the least. Corrective Action. You now start the trial with 1, 2, 3 tokens and gain a token up to a maximum of 5 for every great skill check. When a survivor fails a normal skill check within 8 meters, 1 token is consumed and their failed skill check becomes a great skill check. Yet again, like I was talking about Dead Man Switch earlier, I do believe this is going to become a counter meta to it. And my biggest concern is I think you can actually AFK Gen Rush now. It's a little unnerving to know that this is something that would probably actually work well with Hyper Focus. And knowing the Gen Rush meta and how some survivors play, I think we're going to end up seeing Corrective Action a ton if this goes live the way it is. Distortion. When your aura would be red, hide your scratch marks and aura for the next 8, 10, 12 seconds was 6, 8, 10. Distortion deactivates until the next time you're chased. So basically what they're doing is Distortion's getting completely reworked. It's no longer tokens, it's activation and deactivation. You get it once, and then once it is used, you have to be in a chase and out of a chase to get it again. I think this is a very good change in quality of life for this perk in general, because it'll force the people that don't want to be in chase to be in chase at least once or twice a game to get their perk back. Inner Focus. You can see other survivors' scratch marks. When other survivors lose a health state, the killer's aura is revealed to you for 6, 8, 10 seconds. Remove the range condition. Now, there used to be a range condition on this to be able to see this. The fact that they remove that is huge, and I think Inner Focus will become a bigger part of the Beamer Savers loadout. I think you'll see this a lot more with background player, that's for sure. Lucky Star. When you hide a locker, make no grunts of pain. After exiting the locker, you see the aura of the closest generator, all survivors, and make no grunts of pain nor leave blood pools for 30 seconds. Was initially 10. With 10, that wasn't really a lot to work with, and I think the fact that they're giving us 30 seconds now is massive. 30 seconds will make this huge, and you're definitely going to see this in the head-on gamers loadouts moving forward. Poise. When first starting repairs on generator, reveal the killer's aura for 6 seconds. New. After a generator is completed, leave no scratch marks for 10, 12, 14 seconds was 6, 8, 10. Now, this is actually huge because Poise was definitely a very low tier perk, and the fact that you now get to reveal the killer's aura for 6 seconds when you first start repairing on a generator is massive. And the fact that after a generator is completed, you get a longer duration of scratch marks, also huge. Quick Gambit's also getting a huge buff. When you're being chased, see the aura of other survivors, remove the range condition. Survivors working on any generator get a 3, 4, or 5% repair speed boost, bringing it down a little bit. But the biggest thing is there is no range condition anymore like it says. So used to be within 32 meters of Survivor working on Gen, and now it's as long as I'm in chase, everybody is getting a boost. Quick Gambit does go on cooldown for 60 seconds when you lose a health state. So for the first ever so long of your chase, as long as you don't go down, that's going to be amazing for your team. They've also reworked Teamwork, Collective Stealth, and Power of 2. The biggest thing is they added a linger effect to both of these. So when you get out of the distance or the range of the actual perk, you do get to keep the perk for 4 more seconds. Besides that, the only thing that was changed was they removed the cooldown and the distance was 12 meters. We're Gonna Live Forever is also seeing a pretty large change. When healing another survivor in the dying state, your healing speeds increased by 150%, so an extra 50 on the 100. And when completing the heal action, grant them the endurance status effect for 6, 8, 10 seconds. The biggest thing, though, is they removed the list of conditions required to trigger this effect, meaning you can do this right off the rippy dippy. You can run in there, and this is going to be your new for the people buckle up meta. Now, on to the killer updates. We got my boy, Hillbilly, base kit. They're decreasing overdrive dissipation buffer to 8 seconds. It was 15. Decreasing overdrive chainsaw sprint to 11.5 was 13. Decreased overdrive charges gain when revving to 1.5. Decreased overdrive charge gain when sprinting to 1.5. And increase the chainsaw miss cooldown to 2.7. So overall, Billy is getting a big nerf, but at the same time, even though overdrive is getting a massive hit as well, any overdrive at all on Billy is really, really gross in my opinion. So as long as we're not losing overdrive, I still think Billy is a strong contender for like a B tier killer. Billy also had some add-on changes. The discarded air filter got a decreased rarity to common. The high idle speed idler was also decreased. Dad's boots was increased to rare and increased the chainsaw sprint turn by 20%. It was 30, so they've decreased that. But what they've done with the spiked boots is they've also done the same thing. And they've basically increased it to very rare, increasing its rarity, and they've reduced the turn rate due to the fact that the double boots, I love running them myself too, the turn rates was a little over the top, and it made it for very free hits. The low pro chains are making it so instead of going into the dying state, you get deep wound now, which is pretty pog, which means, guess what, Billy? Everyone's pre-dropping on us again. Woo! Skull Merchant's getting completely gutted. We don't even have to read this. Basically, Skull Merchant's going down to base kit killer. They're basically an M1 killer. They're decreasing the hindered penalty when scanned to 5%. It was 10. Drones are always in the active state, but drone lines are only visible within 16 meters, and they only have 1 scan line now. And the Skull Merchant no longer gains haste from survivors being scanned or from survivors having a claw trap. Yet again, she's literally just going down to an M1 killer for the time being. We're going to see massive changes for her in the future. But right now, I do believe with the state of play that DBD's in and with the complaints of the player base behavior is just completely gutting her for the time being and fixing her later. Twins is getting a little bit of a change too. Increase the cooldown when Victor is crushed to 20 seconds was 15 seconds. And increase the cooldown when Victor downs a survivor to 3.2. It was initially 2.7. Twins was a little overtuned and their slug ability became very noticeable, so behavior's trying to fix that. Unknown's getting some changes. Base kit decreased to teleport movement speed, recovery to 1.4 seconds was 1.7. Decreased to delay between charging UVX and movement speed penalty to 0.07 seconds. They noticed that triggering movement speed penalty while charging UVX now happens faster upon pressing input was 0.2 seconds. Move survivor body texture effect from UVX airborne hits to successful UVX weakened hits. Weakened survivors should now have more visual information to track if they have become or are still afflicted by weakened. And updated sound effect for UVX airborne hit to sound more neutral overall. For add-ons, blurry photo, which was used quite a bit after teleporting, regained full movement speed 15% faster, was initially 50. And Vanishing Box, survivors who complete generators become weakened against UVX, increase hallucination spawn time by 80%, which is completely new. They're doing this because they noticed that blurry photo was a very overused add-on, and they want to increase viability of add-ons. We also do have a couple features that have been changed. UX gameplay updated the Unknown's killer power icon with new smaller icons to better surface mechanics and cooldowns. The Rift Pass, players can now preview Moris in the Rift Pass, which is huge. And then bug fixes, archives, fix an issue that caused the with your own hands challenge not to gain progress when killing a survivor with the Licks Recover artifact, which a lot of killers have mini Moris, and a lot, I mean like maybe 2 or 3. And with the Licks, if you have his eye or his hand, when he gets you down for the final time, he can mini Mori you and take back his artifact. And I suppose that wasn't counting towards the challenge, and they fixed that, which is huge. For audio, they fixed an issue that caused Slipknot's theme to not play when swapping cosmetics. Dwight's Mr. Elf outfit is now producing short-range SFX when crouching/uncrouching. Oh, that's cool. and fix an issue that caused Lara Croft to trigger VOs during a MORI. Bots. Survivor bots went through a grueling training on how to use flashlights and are now much better at aiming them and using them mid-chase. They didn't need this. They're already goated. They do crazy things with the beamers. Characters. More legendary outfits for killers now come with a custom name. Fix an issue that caused the Nemesis add-on Adrenaline Injector not to increase killer instinct duration. And fix an issue that caused the Dark Lord's model to become distorted when spectating while the killer shape-shifted forms. Interesting. Environment maps. Fix an issue on the map of Sanctum Wrath where the statue's head would not rotate. Fix an issue in Midwich Elementary School where a ground tile appeared in the corridors. Fix an issue in the map Rancid Abattoir where a tree would clip through the exit gates. Updated the map tile generation to reduce chances of bugs in the future. You may see certain tiles appear more or less commonly than before. This could be kind of concerning when it comes to RNG because that means we're either going to, 1, get a lot more great tiles, or 2, get a lot more dead zones. We'll see. For perks, fix an issue that caused the incorrect external perk icon to be shown when a survivor's unhooked with Babysitter. Fix an issue that caused Decisive Strike not to free the survivor after being caught by the Lick Mimic chest. Fix an issue that caused the Eye of Belmont perk to behave inconsistently when paired with Object of Obsession perk. Fix an issue that caused the Weave Attunement to buff icon to remain on survivor while it's no longer affected. I noticed this one a couple times, but I really didn't say much about it while I was playing because it was just one of those things where I honestly, I noticed it, but I thought it was meant to be like that. Add-ons. Updated the description of the Dark Lord's magical ticket add-on to reflect the correct value. Platforms. Improved loading time during splash screen for the Xbox Series X. And fixed a crash that could occur when suspending the game on PlayStation consoles. Miscellaneous fixes. They fixed a crash that could occur when forced exiting the application with Alt F4 during a trial. And fixed a crash that could occur on servers while loading into a trial. And then fixed an issue that caused the White Ward Survivor offering not to protect add-on when the survivor dies with an upgraded item. Oh, that's upsetting. What do you do? But chat, that was the DBD 8.3.0 patch notes. I hope you guys are excited. I know I would like a lot of this to make it into the live servers. I'd really like to see the finishing MORI make it in the live servers. I know a lot of the killer changes like Hillbilly and Skull Merchant, as much as I love Hillbilly and dislike Skull Merchant, sadly they just kind of have to happen. And besides that, there's just a lot of perk changes overall that might not make it to live, but I'd like to see some variation or format of them still make it. It's very interesting to see where behavior is going with these PTBs recently, but I would like to say I'm very happy with the fact that they are trying to shake up the meta and make very non-meta perks more viable. One more time, guys, thank you so much for listening to me today. Hope you guys enjoyed my yapping, and I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your day and or night. Sleep well, play safe if you're at work, have a great time with the PTB if you play it, and if I don't see you there, I'll see you next time. See you guys.